from the Colorado Rockies will lead it off.
It was just about a year ago now that Young got into the lineup on a regular basis with the Rockies, July 1st, 1995, and since that time he's hit over 350.
Pinching in at the corner, certainly Williams is. There's the youngster, right? What's going through his head at this time?
I don't know.
Lots.
21 years old, making his big league debut.
Fernandez drops it in there for a strike. It's 2-2. Two of his last three outings were as well as he's pitched. He had one last start, at which point they were going to drop him out of the rotation, and he pitched beautifully against Florida. But here's the first batter, and Eric Young dunks it into the gap, and he has some wheels. Bernard will turn and fire it in. Young slides in safely, and the Rockies start with an extra base hit.
Well, in Fernandez's last start, he only went 4 innings, left with a strain in his back, so we're going to keep an eye on that tonight. The Giants weren't sure until yesterday that he could go to the post. So Young, a good high ball hitter, gets a ball around his waist, hits it to the gap, and when Bonds can't cut it off, then Young has an easy double. So the Rockies begin well here in the first.
Young, who on Sunday against Hideo Nomo stole second, third, and home as part in one inning as part of his 6th stolen base effort. And certainly Kurt Manwaring, one of the better defensive catchers in the National League, will be on his toes behind the plate tonight. Fernandez does, with the runner on, take his time. He's deliberate. Not as deliberate as Hideo Nomo, but Fernandez might be a guy that you can run on.
Yeah, I think here you give Vanderwall a shot to pull the ball to the right side, though. John's a good pull hitter, and then leave it up. If Vandy can't get the job done, then maybe with Burks up, you think about going.
A rare start for Vanderwall, the pinch hitting ace, set a major league record with 28 pinch hits last year. But with the injury to Larry Walker, it's usually Q, Quinton McCracken in center, but this is a chance to give Vanderwall a start. Move Ellis Burks to center field, although I don't think Baylor wants to do that much, right?
No, but you got to give your pinch hitters some at-bats once in a while.
Well, he pulls this through the right side. Javier will charge it. Young is being sent home, and there'll be no throw. So just like that, a double by Young, a single by Vanderwall, and the Rockies are on the board and have, for the third game in this 3-game series, they have a lead over the Giants.
Well, I think one of the things the Rockies want to do is try to expand on their lead. They really haven't done a very good job of that. Vanderwall does his job, pulls the ball, an off-speed pitch to the right side. And on top of getting the man over to third, he finds the hole between Peltier and Thompson. And Eric Young scores easily, and the Rockies get on the board first.
So now comes the heart of the order, and you look at these numbers by the Colorado Rockies. And yes, I know they play half their games at Coors Field, but the numbers are... they are intriguing, to say the very least. You see the slugging percentage. There's nobody better in the National League than Ellis Burks. And with his 21 home runs, he's already tied his career best, which he had really his last full healthy season in 1990 with the Red Sox, when he had 21 homers. And here we are on July 2nd, and he's tied a career best. And that was the year he went to the All-Star game, and he's back this year.
Well, all 7 of the regulars on the Rockies hit 300 or better at home. Burks is the only one on the road, and he's hit very well on the road this year. I say 7 regulars, 14 on the road.
Ouch. We're still with the Expos, but it's a sacre bleu. 2-0 pitch by Fernandez. Now he'll try and catch Vanderwall napping a little bit. McCarty played there yesterday and got a big base hit to tie the game in the 8th inning. Dan Peltier has done a fine job off the bench for Dusty Baker. Gets the start tonight. Burks to center field. Bernard kind of went sideways first. Makes the catch, and Vanderwall is almost doubled up. Boy, he went too far, and he almost paid for it.
He did, and Bernard showed a lot better arm than I thought he had. He threw a low P back to first base, and Vanderwall was almost doubled off.
Here's the throw, David.
Well, Bernard sets up well, and Vanderwall really scrambling. You can see, had Peltier been able to keep the foot on the base, but the throw was coming right into Vanderwall's back, so he had to kind of circle it and make sure the ball didn't get past him. Maybe Vandy lost it in the fog.
Well, there'll be a lot more lost in the fog as the game rolls on. Yeah, it's starting to roll in. It is that time here in San Francisco. So you get Burks retired, and here is Dante Bichette. He had the 40 home runs last year to lead the National League. voted in as starter. The outfield in the National League, of course. Dante last year as well led the National League with 128 RBIs. This year his numbers, not too bad. 17 and 80. You multiply that by 2 as we're at the midway point. I know that's dangerous to do that, but boy, even talking 150 RBIs in a season is unbelievable. I don't care where you play.
Just named Player of the Month in the National League for June. Knocked in 39, a club record.
Fooled on that pitch by Fernandez, and through the fog slices Bernard again. Vanderwall this time, no such drama, him scurrying back to first base, and there are 2 down in the Rockies' first.
Bichette hit .375, 11 home runs, and 39 runs batted in, and just named today Player of the Month in the National League.
So Bernard has made the 2 putouts for the Giants, and now that'll bring up the number 5 batter, Le Grand Chat, Andres the Giant Galarraga. And he only has 75 RBI, so he's really having a horrible season.
Second in the National League.
You know what? These 3 guys, Burks, Bichette, and Galarraga, I think over the span of the last 10 days, each one of them, at least for one day, has led the league in RBI.
Yeah.
Galarraga, after that big night he had against the Dodgers, where he had 8.
Yeah, first 2 at bats, that set the tone for that series at Coors Field. He had 2 3-run homers in the first and second inning. And before the dust had settled, 4 games with the Dodgers and Rockies, 85 runs. I'll tell you, I thought the Dodgers might have an after effect, but they've gone into San Diego and gotten pretty good pitching down there and won 2 in a row.
And the Rockies have come in here and are facing a pitching staff that's given up the most homers in the National League. The Giants, 112. They haven't hit a homer here in 2 games. So go figure.
Maybe they're tired.
Yeah.
After the weekend. Sure didn't affect Mike Piazza, though, when he went down to San Diego Monday night. He hit one a bomb to right field.
Ground ball to third. Williams will scoot it over to Robbie Thompson, and after the Rockies, well, we will keep our eye on him because who knows what is going through his head. 6'5", 203 from Moore, Oklahoma.
Combined in the minors, 6-3, 1.90 ERA.
94 strikeouts in 104 1/3 innings, so keep your eye on that. He began in New Haven, where he was 5-1 for the Double-A New Haven Ravens, my hometown club. And 4-2, 2.72 ERA at Colorado Springs, and count is 2-1. They brought him up a little earlier than I think the master planned, Dave.
Yeah, I think so, but you know the problem was that Brian Ricard and Mark Thompson have just been absolutely scuffling, and they're going to find out what this kid's made of. Throws a fastball. He's got a slurve and a pretty good changeup, and the sinking fastball is his best pitch. He's behind Marvin Bernard, 3-1.
And the early radar gun reports have him at 92, 93 mile-an-hour range. Works quickly. We like to see that in a young pitcher. And he just pinks the outside corner, so the count is full. Jeff Kellogg, the umpire behind the plate tonight. Jerry Lane at first. Paul Runge at second. Country Joe West down at third. Well, the first batter in the Major League career, Jamie Wright, he walks him.
Well, if there's the good news, though, he was around the plate all but 2 pitches, and he painted the outside corner twice, and then he tried to bury one inside, just missed. So we'll see how he comes back. But once you get past Peltier to Matt Williams and Barry Bonds, he's going to face a pretty good crisis. So maybe he's going to look for a double play ball here.
Joji stands 6'5", 203. Was offered a basketball scholarship, full ride to play at the University of Oklahoma. Said, appreciate it, but I'll try my hand at baseball. And here he is in the bigs. So obviously quite an athlete. Fastball up high, and I think Jeff Reed has an interesting job tonight, Dave. The former Giant, the veteran catcher of the Rockies. He's really got to get inside Wright's head a little bit this evening.
Yeah, and the big thing is if he continues to be a little wild, I think it would be a good idea for Jeff to slow him down a little bit. I'm sure Frank Funk, if he walks another guy, will come out and chat with him.
Javier squares to bunt, pulls it back, and the pitch is in there for a strike.
Milwaukee just brought up young Jeff D'Amico, 20 years old, last week. He pitched a great game in his debut, and Don Baylor talking about how maybe he's leaning a little bit with his delivery to the plate. That might allow somebody to get a good jump at first base.
Well, a few weeks ago, a game we did with Seattle and Cleveland, young Matt Wagner made his debut for Lou Piniella, pitched very well in a very tough atmosphere in Jacobs Field. Mariners ended up losing that game, but Lou said, I think he's got poise, and we'll learn about it right now tonight. And Lou got his answers. Maybe the same will go for Jamie Wright. Fishing to Bonds and Williams et al. Here goes the runner, Bernard. Reed's throw is wide, and Bernard has stolen second base.
I think just what you saw from Don Baylor, I think Jamie starts leaning a little bit towards the plate, and at that point, that allows the base runner to get a good jump. If Reed had thrown a perfect strike, might have had a shot, but this throw really not in the neighborhood. He had a pretty good jump, did Marvin Bernard. He steals his 9th base of the year. Take a look. No, it wasn't too bad of a lean. Bernard had a pretty good jump, though.
Count is 2-1 to Javier. Castilla in on the grass a little bit at third as Stan lays the bunt down. Wright has a play at third, and Bernard is gone. So there's some poise for you.
Absolutely. I mean, the ball right back to him, and I mean, if the youngster was going to have a case of the nerves, he just would have grabbed it and threw to first base. He grabbed it, looked at third, had a play. Bernard hesitated because the ball came off the bat in the air. But that's a good play by Jamie Wright. Watch Bernard at the top of your screen hesitate a little bit when this ball is in the air. He hesitated just twice, and that was enough. Jamie Wright spun and got him. So Bernard didn't read it too well off the bat.
Dave, he wasn't going to go back to second base. I mean, he was in the middle. He should have just kept going.
Yeah. Well, again, the ball was in the air, and I don't think Marvin got a real good perspective of whether it was going to hit the ground. He didn't want to get doubled off. By the time he decided it was going to hit, then it was too late. Good play by the youngster, though.
So that changes things. Dan Peltier, a free swinger, being the Texas organization, has done a good job. An average of 353 with some key pinch hits. Why was he available? Well, basically, he was asked and refused to be a replacement player last year. And that's really the story of why he may have been let go by the Rangers. And Dusty Baker liked his attitude in spring training, Dave.
Went to the Northern League last year, and we know who's up in the Northern League right now. Jack Morris and Darryl Strawberry. Sometimes a second chance up there for players. Strawberry's having big numbers up there. 16 homers last I saw.
Now, Peltier's attitude, as Javier bluffs, and Peltier will foul this one away. Although in Candlestick, you can never say that. There's more room and foul ground here in Oakland than anywhere else. But Peltier said to Dusty at the end of spring training, "I'm your man. I can do a job for you." And Dusty just liked the attitude. It wasn't cocky. It was his confidence, and it made a register on him, and he brought him up early, and it's been a good move.
Kind of reminds me of when Jeff Brantley made this team. He sold himself to Roger Craig pretty much the same way.
0-2 pitch, and Peltier fouls that one off.
You know, Chris, I mean, young pitchers, I mean, we know what Dwight Gooden did when he came to the big leagues at age, 19? Fernando Valenzuela, they say, was 19 or 20 when he came up. Brett Saberhagen won a Cy Young Award, I think, when he was 21. So, I mean, it really is dependent on the emotional maturity. Some guys just have that inner confidence, so they just come up here and they look forward to it. Other guys kind of fear that first trip to the big leagues.
Fastball up high, and Peltier can't meet it. And now Jamie Wright has registered his first major league strikeout.
I will say one thing. Watching Rocky baseball for the last 3 years, this is the best fastball I've seen come out of the minor leagues, and by quite a wide margin.
Well, here's a guy who's hit a few fastballs in his day. Matt Williams. Matty, starting third baseman for the National League. 17 home runs and 66 RBIs. Matty had the big RBI single, drove in the run that put the Giants ahead 2-1 yesterday in the 2 outs in the 8th inning, and Bonds followed with a 3-run home run. For Williams now, he's closing in on the 250 home run mark in his career very quietly. He's at 242. He's got 8 to go.
Missed 61 games last year with that broken foot.
Yeah, Williams with 242 and Bonds now a member of the 300 home run club. I mean, pretty impressive. And as is the clocking on Mr. Wright.
95 is not too shabby. Barry Bonds on deck. Javier stole 36 last year, has 11. He has had a calf injury, but they say it's a lot better. I don't know if he'd run maybe with 2 strikes on Williams.
More of a the cutter, the sinking fastball on that one, Dave.
Yeah, the youngster is very impressive early tonight. He's got a darting fastball and seems to have great poise. That might have been a breaking pitch there. That could have been the slider.
Well, you have your scouting report on a young pitcher, but the Giants obviously don't have that much information. I asked Dusty, what do you do against a new pitcher? What do you tell your guys? 0-2 pitch on the way. Williams fouled that pitch like it was outside corner, so good job there by Wright again, and Williams had to protect it. I said, you have the first couple innings, do you take a few extra pitches? He said, no, not really. He said, I go what Hank Aaron always told me about a new pitcher. If we know that his fastball is his best pitch, if we can get and sit on a couple of those and break his spirit early with his best pitch, that's what you try and go after. You don't get up there and look at extra pitches. Before that, if the guy's got control, you end up hitting with 2 strikes all the time. No. So that's the Giants' philosophy tonight.
Not bad.
Breaking ball misses away. Count is 1-2.
Talked to Bobby Bonds before the game tonight, asking him about both Matt and Barry when they were scuffling, and he said Matt got really into a pull mode. He was pulling everything, and for Barry it was a little trigger mechanism with his front foot. We'll take a look at that when Barry comes up tonight, but Barry's been hot lately.
Pitch out. Well, on 1-2, I figured maybe you try it, but nothing doing there with Javier.
Well, again, big sluggers, sometimes you give them 2 strikes and then maybe you start a runner because the sluggers are maybe going to cut down his swing a little bit, try for a base hit, but Rockies guessed wrong and Javier did not run.
Foul back just to our right.
Well, the Giants trying to win 3 in a row, and the Rockies trying to get on track. They've got 4 in L.A., and they see Ishmael Valdez, to me, one of the best pitchers in baseball, and I think a big omission from the National League All-Star team. We got that game tomorrow night in Los Angeles, and Valdez pitched 7 shutout innings in Coors Field last Saturday, but gave up 3 in the 8th, and before the dust had settled, the Rockies had a lot more.
There goes the runner, Javier, and the throw again is to the second base side by Reed, and so Javier has stolen base number 12.
Jamie's a little slow to the plate, but if he can get the hitters, you know, we've seen a lot of guys. Greg Maddux has got one of the slowest deliveries to the plate in all of baseball, but Greg gets enough hitters out. He's got a fairly high leg kick, and Javier steals this one pretty easily. Well, he's got an open base, but you don't think that way with Barry Bonds on deck. You got to go after Matt Williams right here.
Well, the count was 0-2. It's now 3-2 to Williams. 1-0 Rockies. Bottom of inning number 1 here in San Francisco. Oh, that's a tough hit.
A bit of energy there is he had a pretty good first inning. He allowed 2 stolen bases, but got 2 strikeouts, including a great sinker to Matt Williams here. Bottom just fell out of that.
Wow.
I thought it was slider at first, but watching the release, it was a sinker ball.
Welcome to the big leagues, Mr. Wright. He thus far has been Mr. Wright. Now the free swinging Rockies. Vinny Castilla swinging at the first pitch from Osvaldo Fernandez here in the top of the second. Chops it foul. If you're just joining us, Chris Berman along with Dave Campbell. A rare, at least for me these days, check-in at the Hotel California. And a couple of nights examining the National League West.
Good to see you out here.
It's a pleasure to be here. This is home. This is
get a little away a little bit from some of the East Coast heat.
Not a lot of heat in the ballpark tonight, although there's been great weather out here in the Bay. Castilla drives it well to right field. Javier goes back, turned around twice, turned every which way but loose. Castilla into second base, and for the second straight inning, the Rockies lead off with a double.
Vinny Castilla, first pitch in this sequence, hit a dribbler foul. I don't know if Ken Griffey yelled at him to go to right field, but back on June 5th, they took Castilla out of the lineup for a day and got him to hit the ball to right field like he did last year. And since then, in the last 25 games, he's hit .381 with 12 homers, a .761 slugging percentage. Vinny Castilla, when he goes to right field, that is when he is doing his best hitting.
So in the first, Young led off with a double. Vanderwall scored him on a single to the right side. Reed will be trying to poke the ball to the same place.
Well, the Rockies have been fortunate. Both doubles have been followed by a left-handed batter. Reed's going to try to get the bat head out and get it on the right side of the diamond.
top, and the man wearing wants a new baseball, and they'll get it.
Tommy Glavine, big surprise, 7-0 in his last 8 starts against Montreal. Gets the win in that rubber game up in Montreal, so the Braves have a 4-game lead in the National League East.
And for their pitchers, heading to the All-Star game. Slug to the right side. Peltier will take it himself, but Reed does the job as Castilla goes to third. Always doing the job, and a rare holiday visit for Mr. Levy. Hello, Steve.
Chris, thanks very much. Updating you on the only other National League game still going on. The Padres and the Dodgers in the top of the 4th inning. Mike Blowers base hit scored Eric Karros to tie the game at 2. They've now moved to the bottom of the 7th. Back to you, Chris and Dave.
All right, Steve, thank you. So all eyes here on that game as the Dodgers have, well, it looked like the Padres were woken up by the Giants when they came here and swept the 4-game series, but they've gone home against the Dodgers, team that they usually beat. They play well against L.A., but so far nothing shaken. And we'll keep our eyes on that one. A little earlier start to get the fireworks in down at the Murph.
Flowers starting to hit for the Dodgers, and Piazza, Karros, and Mondesi all had big series up at Coors Field, and they've carried that over into San Diego. So when those 3 guys hit and you add Blowers, you get 4 in the middle of that lineup with the Dodger pitching. They can be mighty tough if those guys stay hot.
This is Walt 3-blind Weiss. Former Rookie of the Year in the American League. We were laughing about it before that. 1988. This is his 9th season already. It's true. None better than this guy. Great guy. Good rock and roll aficionado, which of course made him a real hero here in the Bay Area where he played so well for those great Oakland teams.
Yeah, terrific leader on this club too. Infield in, Dusty Baker wants to try to cut down this run.
Fernandez missing again. The count is 3-0. He does not exactly work like he's double parked outside the stadium once a runner gets aboard.
No. Jamie Wright on deck. Of course, this will be his first major league at bat. He hit .214 in the minors this year, so it could be Fernandez might be working around Weiss.
Well, they didn't even get him anything to nibble at, and Walter will walk on 4 pitches.
Anything for the 3-blind mice to nibble on?
Yes, that's right. Well, he wasn't going to give him any cheese, I don't think, was he? Now, Dave. Well, this will bring up Jamie Wright, as you mentioned, for his first major league at bat.
Remember Chico Simone?
Yes.
You know you're supposed to pitch him? Smoke him.
Smoking Simone, that's right.
Chico Salmon.
I got it.
That's how you pitch Tim Salmon, too. Smoke.
He's sockeye. So runners on the corners for the Rockies. Williams pinching in, and Wright does not get the bunt down. Strike 1.
All Jamie's trying to do is sacrifice Weiss down to second, leave it up to Eric Young. That was not a squeeze play. It wasn't even a safety squeeze with Castilla, who was stayed very close to the bag at third. But Don Baylor just had the sacrifice bunt, and Jamie dropped the angle on the bat, so that ball had to go foul. You got to get the bat out in front of the plate.
Fernandez trying to catch Weiss napping over there. Peltier tried to put the tag down.
Osvaldo's got a very quick move to first. He's slow going to the plate, but he's very quick to first base. So you've got to take a little bit shorter lead because of that.
Wright pulled it back, and Fernandez missed for ball 1. Jamie, in talking to him before the game, talked for a couple minutes, wanted to say hello to everybody in the Oklahoma City area from where he's from. About 20 folks, including his mom and dad, that made the trip to see him make his major league debut here in San Francisco. It's easier for them to get to San Francisco than New Haven, right? It's, as well we know.
Non-stop anyway.
Yep. Well, a pretty good cut at it. This will be foul. Anyway, he knows a lot of folks are watching at home, and he hopes he doesn't disappoint. And so far, so good.
Well, one thing that's impressive already is he's gotten 3 signs right. The Rockies had the hit and run on. He pulled the bat back and looked like he knew what he was doing. Gene Glenn's going to talk to him now. Pulled the bat back from the bunting position and was just a little late on it. Outfield playing him pretty shallow, so and Castilla does not run all that well, so on a medium fly ball, it could be interesting. Bernard's already shown a good arm tonight from center field.
And we know what Bonds has, that's for sure. Count is 1-2, and Weiss will get the uniform dirty again.
Berry doesn't have the world's strongest arm, but he has such a quick release and generally very accurate that he makes up. Again, you see the quickness of Fernandez with the feet. Rockies have Armando Reynosa, who's a pickoff specialist. He's quick as well.
Wright will bunt it foul with 2 strikes, and so that will go down as a strikeout in the books. So only fitting in his first inning that he pitched, he struck out 2 Giants, and in his first at bat, he gets struck out himself. So
okay.
He giveth, he taketh away.
Right. He'll be working on bunting practice tomorrow.
Yes, he will.
Well, Castilla and Weiss remain anchored at 3rd and 1st, and the Rockies. One of the things they've done in this series and the last road trip when they lost 5 out of 6 to the Phillies and Mets, they've been able to get early leads, but then they haven't been able to deliver the knockout punch.
Well, Young, who doubled to lead off the game, looks at a slow curveball from Fernandez, and he misses the ball. So
Manwaring motion for Fernandez to get on top of that curveball. He's been leaving it up.
Again, that could be the back, something we have to look at, Dave. Maybe hard for him to get down on and snap the curve as well as he would like. I did speak with him before the game, although he doesn't speak English, but I did speak with him. He said, "How are you?" And I said, It indicated how's the back, and he gave me a thumbs up sign. So I guess that means it's feeling pretty well, or at least he wasn't letting on.
Were you dabbling in Espanol? I thought maybe you'd have Carlos, his translator.
No, I kind of tried it myself, which is why I didn't get that much information out of it. Well, since we tried to translate, he's gone ahead now of Young 1-2. Dusty Baker hoping that a leadoff double doesn't allow the Giants to wriggle out of it.
Dick Cole, pitching coach, flashing some signals out to Manwaring. More than likely, what he wants the pitcher to do is a running game as opposed to calling the pitch. I wonder if the Rockies might activate Weiss here, but again, Castilla does not really run that well, so if you're thinking about a double steal, it'd be pretty tough for Vinny to score. But if you get the man thrown out, then you got Young leading off next inning. One of the things Don Baylor, of course, when they stole 10 bases against the Dodgers at home last week, Rockies are 3rd in the National League in stolen bases. They generally try to run a little more on the road because they haven't hit as well, so Don tries to make things happen. But against Nomo last week, who was so slow to the plate, they ran wild against him.
He gets plunked. Eric Young got plunked as either he tried a fastball inside or a curveball that just had no snap on it. So that was not even close to being a strike. So Eric Young takes one for the team as something his manager certainly can appreciate.
Indeed, that one hit him right in the back pocket. In these two teams, there was no way that's intentional, not with Vanderwall coming up and they had 1-2. Dusty Baker didn't like that with Vanderwall coming up. But these two teams have had a lot of hit batters over their years. 39 games they've played, and that's the 38th hit batter. So they're averaging about 1 a game when they play. And Galarraga and Bichette have both had broken bones being hit by pitches from Giant pitchers.
Well, not to mention Robbie Thompson,
right,
drilled by Mike Harkey, which really started it all, right?
That could be.
Yep. As Vanderwall skies it, Matt Williams has room, plenty of room. And so the Rockies have the bases loaded. Vanderwall swinging at the first. At Candlestick, big fireworks display afterwards. And I think this will be the second biggest crowd of the season. They were hopeful of getting about 43,000 tonight with the fireworks displays. And here's a man that's been putting on his own fireworks display the last few games since moving back to his favorite spot in the lineup, the 5-hole, Barry U.S. Bonds. A home run Monday and a home run Tuesday here against the Colorado. Since he went back to the 5 slot after the Giants had lost 8 in a row, that was his suggestion to Dusty Baker. Let me hit 5, even though, number 3 hitter is normally carry on. And if you did that all year, you'd lose another 50, 60 at bats. But Barry is 9 for 15 in the 4 games that he's been in that number 5 slot. He points out that he won all his MVPs from the number 5 hole. And yesterday, with runners at first and second, you had to pitch to him. And he delivered a 3-run home run, his 13th lifetime against Colorado.
Well, it's no secret the Rockies, from the day they formed that franchise, knew it was going to be tough to trade for pitchers and sign free agent pitchers. So basically what they've done through their draft the last 4 years is just go almost exclusively for pitching. First year, they drafted 10 out of 14 pitchers. Second year, the first 5 were pitchers. That was 1993 when Jamie Wright was the first pick. 94, the first 6 were pitchers. Todd Helton, the first baseman last year, and then this year, the first 3 were pitchers. So they're trying to develop from within.
Fastball misses up top and outside. The count is full now to Barry Bonds. So this here's Jamie Wright. He strikes out Matt Williams. Got a 3-2 pitch to Barry Bonds. You come to the bigs and you got to deal with it right away.
Yeah, well, he's young and he's strong, but he's gone 3-2 on 3 hitters now. So he's going to get into the high pitch count if he doesn't get a little more efficient.
He stands off to the side to get the signs. A little different. Interesting start to the windup, Dave. Fly ball to straightaway right field. The crowd gave an ooh and an ah, but Rockies and the Dodgers. We got on time tonight, but I think following Seattle and Texas, what do you think the odds of our Open making tomorrow night?
Slim.
Yeah. Fernandez will handle it himself as Ellis Burks with an excuse-me check swing bounces out. Let's bounce it over to Steve Levy.
All right, Chris, will the Dodgers go into your game tomorrow night a winner or a loser? Right now, going up against the Padres in the bottom of the 7th, Mark Newfield, base hit, would score Ricky Henderson. Makes it 3-2 Padres.
So the Padres, Steve, doing it now without Tony Gwynn to go along with Wally Joyner.
Mark Newfield got a shot when Ricky Henderson was out early and did very well. He's going to have to pick up some slack. Gwynn out. Joyner out. Padres 13th in the National League in home runs. They need somebody with a little sock to help pick up their offense.
Well, I don't think they're going to pick up Dante Bichette, although there's somebody with a little bit of sock.
Dante last year hit 40. He's actually ahead of his pace from the standpoint he hit 27 in the second half last year. He's got 17 in the first half this year.
Well, he hit some on the road to start this season. That was the big difference. What were the first 17 were at home last year?
Yeah. I'll tell you, he's become a great hitter. He had an at-bat against Todd Worrell on Sunday in that 16-15 Rocky game when the Dodgers led by 1. He had an 11-pitch at-bat. Worrell, for the first 10 pitches, never made a mistake, but Bichette just kept hanging in and hanging in, then finally got a pitch to hit and had a single and eventually scored the tying run in that game.
I think Bichette was surprised by that heater by Fernandez. He couldn't catch up to it. Count as 1-2. Getting closer. They just missed us by about 2 boots there.
You know, one of the things Dante has done is become a much better 2-strike hitter, and consequently, I think his RBI production's gone up as a result. Once he gets 2 strikes on him, he gives in a little bit and tries to put it in play. I mean, there's a perfect example. He's had 2 pitches that were tough pitches, and somehow got a check swing and hacked off a high fastball. Once in a while, he'll take some of the ugliest swings you've ever seen and strike out, but you don't see him do it very often, more than once in a game or once every 2 games.
Curveball misses outside. The count is 2-2. RBI single by John Vanderwall in the first inning, driving in Eric Young, who led off the game with a double. And that's where we stand. 1-0, top 3. Well, Fernandez pulled the chain on that a little bit more, and Bichette couldn't come up with it.
It's one of the things they say Osvaldo has done. He's been working with Dick Pohl on changing speeds on his breaking ball. That one was much slower than the one that Bichette had fouled off. So that's been an improvement in Fernandez over his last few starts.
You know what? If you watch that at bat with Bichette, the fastball was much faster than he thought. We saw 3 distinctly different speeds on that one at bat. So Fernandez working very well. His second strikeout of the evening. And this will bring up Andres Galarraga.
Well, Mark Gardner struck out 9 yesterday. If you've got a good breaking ball, you can give the Rockies problems.
Into right field, Javier draws a beat on it, makes the play, and for the first time tonight, the Rockies are down to 1-2-3. Heading to the game. Yeah, I'd always heard this was a beautiful day. Had nothing, just a short sleeve shirt. Oops.
Fool.
Oops. I was young then. I didn't know any better. Now I know better and still make the same mistakes. Just have the purple coat on tonight. That's the only change.
Yeah, I mean, the Rocky fans, it's nice for them, and Dusty likes the coat.
Dusty loves this coat.
Keeping everybody happy.
That's what we try and do here. Politician in me. Kurt, what was that man wearing? The catcher who's missed about a month worth of action earlier this year from Horseheads, New York. Same hometown as golfer on the Pro Tour, Joey Sindelar, who was good enough to play with me in the Greater Hartford Open Pro-Am every year. Boy, that takes some intestinal fortitude. We've done that 5 times.
Break 90 this year?
95 on a bad knee in a tournament course. I was pretty pleased. Just missed a hole-in-one, by the way, by 2 inches. That just missed being fair by about 2 inches.
Joe West, frozen down at third, took him a little time to point, and now he's looking at the fans who are booing him. And Joe's saying, how can you people boo over there? I got a much better view than you do. It's position of the ball when it goes past the base. Clearly foul.
Yep.
Easy call for Joe. Attaboy, Joe. Ain't foul. Style.
Look at Joe with the shades.
Yeah, he's got the yellows on.
Look at Joe.
Those are fog busters.
Right. Look more like Ghostbusters. There's some high cheese, and Manwaring will ride some pine. 3rd strikeout for the youngster Jamie Wright. Now, we know that he had pretty much a strikeout per inning in the minors this year, and you're seeing the stuff. Why, Dave?
Well, he throws a cross-seamer that time, a riding fastball. We've seen the sinker most of the time, and Manwaring is underneath it. He expected the sinker, so the youngster's showing 2 different fastballs so far.
This is Osvaldo Fernandez hitting a 063 clip.
Trying to think who Wright's wind-up and delivery reminds me of. It's somebody last 10 to 15 years. Very simple. Keeps his eye on the target real well. It's a very simple, compact wind-up. And he really focuses in on Jeff Reed's glove. Watch the eyes. Never takes them off. One of the problems Mark Thompson, one of the Rocky pitchers, has. Frank Funk's been working with him, but he just about totally looks away from the catcher. But you see Wright, from the time he begins his windup, stays focused on that target. That's fundamental 101.
That is 2-2 to Fernandez, who was just 2 for 32.
One of the things when you're putting together an expansion team, the Rockies in their 4th year, the very toughest thing to do is get quality pitching.
Little chopper. Could we see hit number 3? Yes. 3 for 33. So Fernandez creeping up towards that Mendoza line with a base hit.
He'll hit it in the right spot. Eric Young was playing him to swing late, way over around by first base, and the ball was on the second base side. So Fernandez just trying to put it in play, hit it in the right spot.
And I mean, here's a team that, you know, they got Bonds, they got Williams, and the first hit of the night comes from someone hitting 063. To quote,
go figure,
the beloved Joaquin Andujar.
You never know.
That's right.
There's one word.
Sum up, that's right.
Yes, you can sum it up in one word. You never know. Is that it?
Yes.
You know that bouncer we just saw go over Wright's head? I've seen Greg Maddux pitch 5 times this year, and I bet I've seen 8 base hits bounce down way over his head. And he's a great fielding pitcher, but it's been that kind of year for Maddux. I mean, all those things that he's had going for him, his great ability, and a little bit of lady luck. This year, it seems though all the fortunes have been against him, but he's still 8-5.
He's still an all-star.
Yeah, well, deservedly so.
Yes, thank you. Some were saying, well, he shouldn't go. I don't think so.
Well, his ERA is about, what, 2.8?
Yeah, 4 Braves pitchers on that all-star squad. And I know Kevin Ritz was disappointed. He's won 9 games for the Rockies. I know Rod Beck was disappointed, but expected. He said, I probably blew my spot this last week, or the week before this one.
Yeah, he had an ERA over 16 in that 10-game losing streak and had 3 blown saves. So that, you know, but, 2 guys. I mentioned Valdez, who's pitching tomorrow for the Dodgers, and then Trevor Hoffman, the reliever for San Diego. I mean, his strikeouts per innings pitched is the best in baseball. So, one thing, the American League took 5 closers. The National League only took 3 relievers.
American League also only took 9 pitchers. Young to Weiss, over to Galarraga, and Bernard grounds into the DP, and Jamie Wright. All right, so he's not going to pitch a no-hitter in his Major League debut. He still has the 1-0 lead. They lead tonight, and Don Baylor and company hoping that they can make that stick. Manager of the year last year, leading a team. First time any team had been in business The fastest an expansion team had been to the postseason was 8 years before last year, and Don Baylor, in only the 3rd year with the Rockies, led them to the postseason. And unfortunately, people didn't see all the series, which the much lamented, and I say that.
Actually, the toughest series the Braves had last year was the division series against the Rockies.
A lot of people didn't see it, but the Rockies fought the Braves tight. Castilla, who leads off here, at 3 home runs against the Braves last year. They were, all those games the Braves won in their last at bat.
Chipper Jones hit a home run in Game 1 to break a tie. The Rockies had a lead in Game 2 going late.
Castilla skies this. Robbie Thompson calls for it. He's caught more pop flies in the mist here at Candlestick and the swirling winds than anyone, but everyone can be an adventure. Certainly if you've played very few games here at Candlestick.
Yeah, especially day games when you're battling the wind and the sun. Second base, first base, right field can be absolutely miserable. Well, we've talked a lot about Jamie Wright, but Osvaldo Fernandez certainly has settled down. He got a big out in the 2nd inning. Bases loaded, John Vanderwall popping out, and nobody's made base since.
Vanderwall swinging at the first pitch, kind of confusingly so. Off speed, up top for ball 1.
Well, as good a hitting team as the Rockies are, they are a very aggressive first ball hitting team, but sometimes they swing at pitchers' pitches early in the count, which sometimes perplexes Baylor. He doesn't mind first ball hitting if you get what you're looking for, but sometimes they'll be looking fastball and take a funky swing at a curve, and he gets a little upset. He'll say, "What were you looking for?" And he'll say, "Fastball. What'd you swing at the curve for?" I don't know.
Jeff Reed grounded to first base, and now we'll single to left field. Ball takes a little scoot there. Bonds had to be careful. So Reed with the 4th base hit of the night for Colorado. Sunday night, the action continues here. Our Sunday night game of the week, Mo Vaughn. What a hitter he has become, and certainly Cal Ripken, the legend, lives on. The Red Sox and the Orioles from Camden Yards. 8 o'clock on Sunday night, and that'll be the last game before the All-Star break.
Coors Field East, they call the Camden Yards.
Brady Anderson with 29 home runs for the Orioles. How many guys with home runs over 20? About 162 this year?
The last time I saw, there were 44 guys on pace to hit 30. Previous all-time record was 1987. I think either 28 or 30 guys hit 30 that year. I had a long chat with Bobby Bonds before the game tonight. He said, "Man, even you would have hit 25 this year." And I said, "Well, let's not get carried away about it."
Fernandez with that quick move to first base, keeping an eye on Reed. Well, Reed, again, is probably not a big threat to go very far. Weiss, and then the pitcher, Jamie Wright, coming up. 1-0 on a single by Vanderwall in the 1st inning. Although he left 3 stranded, his next time up in the 2nd inning.
Again, Fernandez has very quick feet. Reed was sputtering at first base trying to get back there.
Well, this is for the Rockies and the Giants, and also for the Dodgers and the Padres, the 7th night of a 22-day stretch where they play nobody but the National League West. And this doesn't make you think, as Weiss powers this one to center field, Bernard over quickly. He moves fast. He's deceptively fast. Kind of just runs and churns like a Lenny Dykstra, throws it in quickly to Williams, and Reed will stop at second base.
Yeah, he really does. Jeff Reed did not get a good read, per se, off that. The ball was way over Robbie Thompson's head. And then with Bernard running to right center field, he decided not to challenge the arm. But you can see Jeff sputtered, and he gets there right about now. And Jeff decides, well, we're going to let Jamie Wright bunt us over, I guess.
Well, he struck out trying to bunt the last time, so we shall see. Here's my point, Dave, though. Yeah, the National League West playing head-to-head. You know, this last weekend, you had 1 and 2 in all 3 divisions in the American League. Baltimore and the Yankees, a 4-game set. Cleveland and Chicago, who play again this weekend, and Texas and Seattle, who play again. You know, it's time to think about the unbalanced schedule again.
Yeah, that's one point. The other point, though, with all those teams playing this late, chances are almost all of them are going to play again in September. That's the good part.
Yes. Well, for example, Monday was the first time that the Rockies had played the Giants.
Right. But on the downside, you're not going to really win. If you're in the Western Division of the American or National League with 4 teams, that means you play 13 times against each team. You only play 39 games in your division during the year. So you're not going to win your division by necessarily dominating the teams in your own division, just playing about a fifth of your game or a seventh of your games against your own division. It's about a fourth when you think 40 out of 162. But you're going to have to do well. I mean, the Rockies have not done well against the East this year, and it hasn't necessarily been the Braves. They haven't done well against Montreal. They did not do well against the Phillies, who have been beaten up this year. They split with the Phillies 6-6. They're done with them, and the Mets just swept them a 3-game series. So, interdivision is very important, what you do in your own division, but I mean, if you can make hay against the Central and East, you can open up a big gap in this division.
My point is, though, I would like to see them go back to play more games against their division. I just think it's better. I think it's better for the fans. I think it makes a more true champion of your division.
Well, we're going to find something out when they go to, 2 more teams in 1998. We don't know what league they're going to be in yet.
Rotation play on by the Giants, and Wright swinging away at 1-0, fouls it off. That'll get a few people's attention.
Yeah, Matt Williams hoping his dental insurance was paid up because he was charging, and so was Peltier at first base. Rotation play, obviously, is when the third baseman and first baseman charge. Watch the shortstop Dunston going to cover third. You do this when you have a real slow runner at second, and Jeff Reed fits that mold, where you're going for the force at third. If you got a speedy runner at second, chances are you don't put that play on. They also have a pickoff play based on that version where everybody moves and then Robbie Thompson ducks in.
Bunted in the air, caught by Manwaring. So we've learned one thing about Jamie Wright. He's got a very good fastball. He's got a lot of poise. He needs to work on the bunting.
Yeah, indeed. And then I know Don Baylor has talked about those last 6 losses on the road the Rockies have had out of 7 games. It generally has been the little things. He had a defensive workout at home even after the Rockies had beaten the Dodgers 13-1 last Friday. And he said, guys, it's wonderful when we're scoring all those runs, but when we get involved in these low-run games on the road, we've got to play fundamentally sound baseball to win, and they have not done that. They haven't hit on the road, and they haven't done the little things.
Eric Young has doubled and scored and has been hit by a pitch. Grounds it with 2 out to Matt Williams, over to Robbie Thompson, and the Rockies will strand 2 here in the 4th as Fernandez pitches out of it.
Jamie's a special young man. About 3 years ago when we drafted him, he didn't have any meat on the bone at all, but now he's grown into a man, and he's done well in New Haven. He went to Colorado Springs, and he has a toughness about him that you will not find in a lot of 21-year-old kids. And he's a man now, and I think bringing him up, it might be a little premature, maybe a couple of weeks, but I tried to convince Bob Gebhardt, my general manager, out of spring training that I could take him with us, but he wouldn't let me have him. So now he's with us, and everybody's pulling for him, and he's a special young man.
Poised, and got about 20 members of family and friends from Oklahoma City tonight here in San Francisco. Only one major league debut, and he'll never forget. Except for his attempts at bunting, he brought him up to pitch, not to hit. And I would say so far on the report card for the pitching, give him a couple of A's.
Good sinker there. Yeah, his parents, Randy and Joni. We're trying to locate them. We know they're somewhere in the neighborhood of the Rockies dugout, but we've had Mike Swanson, the Rockies publicist, working on it, but we can't find the 20 strong from Oklahoma City who are in to watch Jamie. They all flew in today.
Well, Swanee got lost on the way behind the dugout. That's what happened.
Yeah. It is foggy, sports fans. Don't adjust your dial. Well, again, Wright has gone to a 0-2 count. But now he goes 1-2. Let's see if he can put Javier away or if Stan can work the count out a bit.
Pulls something off that pitch. It's 2-2. Javier, Peltier, and Williams with Bonds due up 4th this inning. Into the game here, I think it was 91. The fog was so deep, a pelican flew in and got below the fog. It was so thick and low. Javier drives this to right center field. This will go a long way. It's a 1-2 hopper against the gap sign. Javier thought about 3 for a moment. The Rockies turn it in, and so twice Colorado has led off in the 1st and 2nd inning with doubles. This time the Giants will try that trick.
Well, again, the youngster's done a good job of getting ahead of hitters, but he hasn't been able to deliver that knockout punch without going deeper into the count. I think one of the things Frank Funkel talked to him about is trust your stuff enough when you're 0-2. This one right in the middle of the plate, and Javier, just looking to put it in play, finds the gap in right center in more ways than one. Out against the gap sign, and a lead double for the Giants here in the fourth.
Well, that'll bring up Dan Peltier, who struck out his first time up after fouling off several pitches. Just to complete that story, the Pelican, between the fog, the dense fog, the lowness of it, and the lights, couldn't find his way out. He was circling as if he was going around the bases just about 20 feet above the... They had to delay the game for 5 minutes until the Pelican found an opening and finally got out. They just missed Will Clark. Well, never mind. That's another part of that story. Ground ball right at Walt Weiss. He took a look at third base, but elected to play across the diamond. Javier safe at third. Safe in our studios in Bristol is Steve Levy.
Chris, it's the only American League game.
Thank you. The Giants, who trail at 1-0, have the tying run at third base. Matt Williams followed by Barry Bonds up. Matty struck out his first time up against Jamie Wright. The infield will be in, and boy, talk about checking your dental insurance with Matt Williams up and infield pinching in. That's
Now, this is a Don Baylor philosophy. Don Baylor holds the major league record for hitting sacrifice flies in his career, but he always said when he was a hitter, when the infield played in, he got away from what was natural for him, and so he's done this pretty much since the first year he's managed.
fastball inside, backs Williams off. Count is 1-1.
Now, Weiss thought about going to third on this ground ball off the bat of Peltier. Javier didn't have a great jump. Weiss looks, and I don't know, maybe he thought that Javier was too much in the baseline and risked hitting him in the back. That's all I can think of in that situation.
Chop foul just wide of the Rockies dugout. Count is 1-2.
Well, the youngster facing a test right now with a one-run lead, tying run at third, and two of the most dangerous hitters in baseball facing him.
Staring in at the now four-time All-Star, Matt Williams. Right. Curveball up top outside, 2-2. Javier, the runner at third base, 1-0 game, Colorado, bottom of the fourth. Chris Berman along with Dave Campbell. Glad he could be with us. A lot of folks out here out west will probably be enjoying their fireworks tonight. Certainly 40,000 plus here at the Recom Park at Candlestick Point is the full complete name of the stadium now. Enjoying that show afterwards. Dusty Baker hoping for some fireworks right here from Williams and Bonds. Misses inside. The count is full to Williams.
Well, he went full on Matt last time and struck him out on a good sinker away. But again, if it may be nitpicking, but that's the only thing I've seen wrong with Jamie Wright. He's been ahead on the count and then hadn't put hitters away quite as consistently as he would probably like to.
Yeah, the imposing figure of Barry Bonds in the on-deck circle. Just got a piece of it to stay alive.
Well, the youngster made another good pitch, and Matt Williams, a good piece of hitting just to foul that off.
Final. The Padres have beaten the Dodgers, which means the winner of this game will pick up a game in the standings, as the Padres and Dodgers are now tied atop the NL West. And for the Giants, if they win tonight, they'd be 3-10 in their last 13 games, and they would have lost 2.5 games in the standings if they can win. That's why we call them the Houdinis of baseball.
Well, chances are during this 22-game stretch, unless somebody really gets hot, I have a feeling you're going to look back and maybe see one team, the best, go 13-9 of these four teams during that stretch. So I don't think anybody's going to run off and hide in this division during this 22-game span.
Colorado going to the Dodgers for 4 after this. The Giants going to the Padres for 4 after this, including a 1 p.m. game tomorrow. Rough at San Diego. They're going to worry about this game now. The count is full to Williams, and he'll step out and call for time. And Reed will go out to right. Reed, right.
You know, quite figure out which of the arithmetic.
Crowd coming to life here. Infield still in. Williams on the full count. He loses him. So runners at the corners for Barry Bonds, who had a 3-run homer yesterday afternoon off Curtis. Outside, ball 1. Oh, strike. Jeff Kellogg at Barry, gave him a little glance. Well, he's giving him more than a glance now. He thought it was outside, but Kellogg gave him the strike.
It appears that Jamie just lets his natural ability take over on the first pitch, but he's done a terrific job of getting ahead and getting good movement. Then maybe when he gets 2 strikes, he's trying to make that perfect pitch.
Ripped. It's a foul ball. First we get the touchdown sign, and then we get the foul call by Jerry. Fastball up top, misses a little bit outside. 1-2.
Well, he's still staying 93, 4, and 5 on the gun, and on a cool evening, and a young man's stamina shouldn't be too much of a problem. But he's into 60 pitches already here in the 4th inning.
That one is foul. We can all call that from here. You know, think of the kind of year that Barry has had. He went almost a month without hitting a home run, and he has 23 home runs. He could still win the home run title.
Well, he's also looking for his 4th MVP. He's on a pace because the Giants are right at the 81 game mark. 46 homers, 40 stolen bases.
That means a lot to him. He got stolen base number 20 yesterday, and so now he's halfway to that 40-40, only done by a man across the bay, Jose Canseco. He really wants it. Figures if I'm doing 40-40, that means the team must be winning, and maybe he'll carry us right into October.
Now, generally, he steals bases when they're important, too. He doesn't steal too many frivolous bases.
Count 2-2 now to Bonds. Outside, it's 3-2. So, again, same pattern, Dave, and you made the observation. He may be thinking or trying to make the perfect pitch, and it's tough enough to get up ahead of a hitter 0-2 and 1-2, and then to kind of give it back is disconcerting. But first start, 21 years old.
Well, let's see if Williams runs here. Bonds doesn't strike out very much.
You got to have the stomach jumping just a little bit if you're Jamie.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Williams does go. And now he's hung up between first and second as Bonds is struck out. Here comes Javier to score, and Williams gets in the rundown long enough to allow the run to score.
Yeah, the Rockies didn't play that very well. Weiss didn't look him back, and once he got it to Galarraga, good job by Javier.
Bonds can't believe he struck out, but Williams did a smart play, and the Giants tie it in an unorthodox manner. Any one of them can put him out.
Well, the Giants lead the National League in home runs allowed with 112, but as you pointed out, the Rockies have not hit one here in the series.
Fouled off. Much against Bichette this at bat, Dave.
Yeah, he'd like to get him out front, hit a ground ball to Williams or Dunston, and see if he could get the double play. Bichette doesn't run all that well.
Working him inside.
They have 33 times their names appear in top 10 categories in offense in the National League.
Inside.
5 out of the top 7 in this game tonight.
Yeah, not
with
bad.
Bonds and Williams.
That's why the folks that are staying up later, they're staying up to enjoy it.
Watching the All-Stars.
Hope you can join us Monday and Tuesday for our coverage from the Gala and the Home Run Derby, etc. on Monday, and certainly our baseball tonight and Sports Center packages
You get
from
the,
Philadelphia.
I would suspect you have the Home Run Derby.
Yes.
Back.
How many back-to-back packs can I say in 2 hours, though? I mean, doesn't it well run dry there? Gets what he wants. Dunston, the quick shovel to Thompson, over to Peltier, and the double play turn. And Fernandez pitching very well low and away against Galarraga fishing. 30 home runs. And when you add it all up, and this will get fouled. Bichette with 40, Larry Walker. Working away to Galarraga, but way outside. Count is 1-2.
Now, the book on
fastball misses the outside corner. 2-2. Well, the Rockies have had a lot of opportunities. Opened up with runners at first and second here with none out. And Colorado goes fishing and they strand another one. So the Rockies are squandering their chances.
Rockies have left more men than Liz.
And hence the Rockies are now staring at Rod Beck, who is 3 outs away from helping the Giants nail down a 3-game sweep. Beck's first 25 appearances, he was the old Beck for sure, an ERA of .68. Then there were the 5 appearances which we talked about, the couple losses, couple of blown saves. But the last 2 or 3 appearances, he's back to the old Beck. He works quickly, and the Rockies had better be on their toes. The top of their lineup, Young, Vanderwall, and Burks. And very quickly, Beck throws strikes. He's ahead of Young, 0-2. Well, the Rockies get a double from Young, Dave, and then a single from Vanderwall, the first 2 batters of the game, and that's been it.
That's been the story of their road games this year.
Beck's working away. Young doesn't go for it. The count is 1-2.
If the Giants hold on to win this one, the Rockies in their last 8 road games would have had a lead in 7 of them and have only won 1.
Beck trying for save number 18. Of course, the Rockies dangerous. They could hang a 3 spot on anybody. Just ask the Dodgers.
The key man in the inning probably is Young. He can make a lot of things happen if he gets on base.
One-two pitch on the way. A little pop. Thompson calls off Peltier. Says, I've been at this longer than you in this park. There's 1 out in the Rocky ninth.
Well, Beck made 4 super pitches. He got ahead 0-2. He tempted him with 1 outside and then busted him back in on the hands.
Sports Center coming up with the judge, Bill Pito and Rich Betty Davis Eisen. Wimbledon recap, all the scores and highlights of baseball. Tyson fight preview. All that coming up right after we are done here at the Stick. Of course, we'll see you tomorrow from L.A. Dave and I are we're the caboose on the Canadian Railroad Trilogy tomorrow as we present on July 4th. Beck now behind Vanderwall 2-0.
On Dodger Stadium.
And there's Curtis Laconic, not feeling laconic at this point.
It's been a tough year for Curtis. He was a big part of that Rockies great season a year ago, but again, maybe the 76 appearances last year and a lot of work early have taken some toll on the arm.
Beck, who started off 2-0 to Vanderwall, has now thrown a pair of strikes.
Well, Vanderwall was looking for something to drive, and Beck painted him down and away twice. Now Vandy's going to have to give in a little bit.
Well, if the score remains the same, and now the count is full, Colorado will remain 2.5 games out of first because the Padres beat the Dodgers. It'll be the Dodgers and the Padres tied for first, the Rockies 2.5, and the Giants 3-10 if they win it in their last 13. Would you be just 3.5 out? Vanderwall gives it a long ride. It's in that area where you have to run over the mounds in the bullpen, but it just gets out. And we will redo the 3-2 pitch. Yeah, we'll hope you can be with us tomorrow for more baseball. Don Baylor hoping for a little life out of the bat rack here in the 9th inning.
Well, if the Giants hold on, then the first 7 games in the go-around, the Padres are 5-2. Everybody else would be 3-4.
A little bleeder that's going to find its way for a base hit. So Vanderwall, who is now 2 singles, has reached on a hit by pitch and a walk. He's been the Javier. As good as Javier has been for the Giants, Vanderwall's been that sort of man at the plate, Dave, for the Rockies tonight.
Well, Beck, if he'd thrown that pitch 2-0, Vanderwall would have hit it a long ways. But Beck, after going away, came in and hit him on the fist. But Vanderwall hit the little parachute down over Williams and past Aurelia. Trinidad Hubbard comes in to run for Vanderwall at first base. So we have a pinch runner at first.
Ellis Burks is up. 1 single tonight for Ellis. Skies this one to right. Javier is back. He goes back. He leaps. Gone.
Well, it's been feast or famine for Rod Beck this year, and Ellis Burks is having a tremendous year. That's a career high in home runs for him. He thought he had it, but the way Javier was going back, Ellis wasn't sure because Javier was in the middle of the warning track. So the Rockies get a huge lift from Ellis Burks after the blue pit by Vanderwall.
So it's not exactly 14-12, 15-14, 16-15, but the Rockies seesaw back on top in the top of the ninth inning to the chagrin of Dusty Baker and to the chagrin of the announced attendance of 44,356.
Oh, by the way, the Giants have somebody named Williams and Bonds, the first two hitters in the ninth.
Oh, by the way.
Oh, by the way.
That quieted down the big crowd. We said the Rockies, boy, they can hang a 2 or 3 spot with the best of them, and that's what Ellis has done. Homer number 22.
Well, we said if Walker were healthy, they could have had 5 guys this year hit 30 home runs. Everybody else is on pace. Galarraga, Castilla, Bichette.
And Beck gives up a rip single by Bichette. So Beck has given up 3 hits now after retiring the first man, Eric Young.
Well, here's the pitch to Burke. It was a high fastball, and Ellis got up on top of it. You can tell from the sound it had a chance, but Javier just ran out of real estate. Dusty just going, oh, my. We battle back, get the lead, and can't hold it.
Dick Pohl will go out to talk with Rod Beck.
You know, we talked about the competitive nature of Rod Beck, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody, you know, contemporary. I mean, Eckersley, yes. Gossage, yes. But this guy has so much heart. But I still think that 93 stretch run, when he and Mike Jackson had to pitch just about every day, and the games went right down to the last day of the season when the Dodgers won that last game down at Dodger Stadium 12-1. But I don't think Beck nor Jackson has ever had quite the stuff they had in that 93 season ever since.
So after 3 straight base hits, it's Andres Galarraga. There goes Bichette, and he'll steal the base easily. Lampkin, remember, went into pinch run and scored on the Javier double. Behind the plate does not get even close to a chance to throw out Bichette.
Well, Dante's not going to win too many races against anybody, but that's 14 stolen bases, and he does 90% of it against the pitchers.
Chopper to short. Aurelia now has Bichette hung up. Will throw it to Thompson. Bichette running on the infield grass. Williams will tag him out. Galarraga has to stay at first base. So an alert play by Aurelia. Not really, after stealing a base by Bichette, not exactly the smartest of base runners.
Well, Dante, you see what Don Baylor thinks. Dante's not going to very often.
Vinny Castilla, who doubled in the second inning. 1 for 4.
All Baylor needs now is for Castilla to get a hit, or he could have had that insurance run. He didn't in that game. The Dodgers got 3 in the 9th off him, including a Mondesi homer. This is his first work since.
So Ellis, all-star bound as well he should be. Is the hero, the potential hero tonight for Colorado.
Ellis just wanting to know whether they wanted, he was just looking for the dugout to see where they want to position, and they got him in left center. Matt's got a big hole in right center field.
Big hole. Williams is 0 for 2. Barry Bonds, who's on deck, is 0 for 3. With the feeling one of them is due? We'll see. Weiss deep in the hole at shortstop. Williams goes to the little hole. Can Young get it? Yes, he did. A fine defensive play by Eric Young. Williams did the old hit him where they ain't Wee Willie Keeler attempt. Didn't get enough mustard on the ball, and Young went a long way to retire Williams for 1 out.
Just before the pitch, Eric Young was moving up the middle, so it didn't look like he would get there, but he's got great speed and makes the throw to Galarraga, and they get Williams by a half step.
They wanted a safe call, but I think Jerry Lane was on it. Yeah. Looked out to us. So here's Barry Bonds against the lefty Bruce Ruffin. Bonds has struck out twice tonight. It is 0 for 3. And ball 1 misses outside.
Some teams shift Bonds. The Rockies do not. Just whatever your charts show against individual pitchers.
Wow. They've worked him low and away twice, as well they might. Bonds' home run was straight away right field in the 8th inning yesterday afternoon off Liscanic.
Of course, if you walk him, it's almost like a double with his ability to steal a base.
Right at Young. And so the big guns for the Giants are hitless tonight, and now it's the Rockies that are 1 out away. With Rich Aurelia due up, the normal starting first baseman, Mark Carrion, will pinch hit. Remember, Dunston left the game with a groin problem, so Aurelia at short. So Mark Carrion is the last Giants' hope. Well, we wanted excitement. Pitcher's duel involving the Rockies and the Giants.
I'll tell you, it's been a crazy game. It looked like nobody was going to score, and then the Giants break through in the 8th. But Ellis Burks, who really has had an MVP-type season for the Rockies, had the big hit for them tonight.
So now Colorado can move to within a game and a half. Yeah, that didn't work tonight, Barry. That's been a good one, Dave. Rockies would, if they win, would be a game and a half behind both San Diego and L.A. The Giants would stay 4.5 back. Colorado at L.A. for 4. San Francisco at San Diego for 4 as we head to the break. We'll be in L.A. tomorrow for you. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Think we'll get on early?
I'll see about the 4th inning, I think. That's the over-under, the 4th inning after Seattle, Texas.
Well, Carrion's got a favorable count at 2-0.
Count is 3-0. Robbie Thompson is the on-deck hitter. Hadn't shaved for a few days. Looks kind of grizzled out there. He'd like to get one crack at roughing. Strike call to Carrion, taking all the way.
Now, the Rockies don't believe in guarding the line. That's just Don Baylor's philosophy. It's served him pretty well throughout the years. He has Castilla off.
And that's exactly where Castilla is. The throw across to Galarraga. And Ellis Burks' 2-run home run in the 9th inning off Rod Beck has given the Colorado Rockies a 3-2 win, and they salvage the 3rd game of this 3-game series. Join us for the holiday tripleheader tomorrow, beginning with Boston at Baltimore and Seattle at Texas at 7:30, and then Colorado at L.A., where Dave and I will be. We begin from 4 and we go deep into the evening on July 4th. Stay tuned for all the day's scores and highlights at SportsCenter coming up next. For the Soupmeister, Dave Campbell, and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Chris Berman. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. SportsCenter is next. You can check out anytime you like in the hotel, but you can never leave.
The view here is ferocious. The locals are kind of pushy. The weather's goofy. But the outlook is great. P.S. Love Colorado. Miss Boulder.
If life is a highway, make sure you come well equipped. The Accent from Hyundai. Some of the best ideas on the road.
Hola. Desde San Diego, Adriana nos escribe, su mango loco y guayabamanía me recuerdan de cuando era niña en Costa Rica. Hace 28 años que no regreso. Adriana, vamos a refrescar tu memoria.
Hola, Adrianita.
¡Qué felicidad! Es nomás para mí. Sí. Snapple, creada con lo mejor del mundo. Brings back a lot of memories.
Banana nut bread. Get that same home-baked taste in Post Banana Nut Crunch cereal. Real banana baked into clusters with chopped walnuts and crispy wheat flakes. Banana Nut Crunch. Home-baked taste in your cereal bowl.
Share the story of a special friendship.
I love you, Luke.
And a very special dog.
That dog's letting the animals free.
Fluke. Rated PG. Parental guidance suggested. Starts Friday, June 2nd.
When you fly, just how fresh and clean is the air up there?
Your eyes hurt?
You might have sneezing episodes, might have coughing and congestion.
We took our own flights and did our own tests. And what we found, you should know. 2020 Friday.
Watched show on television, Home Improvement, on ABC.
Tonight on 9 News at 10, our weather takes a step back into another season tonight. Snow in Boulder. Mike Nelson will tell us when the sun's going to come out of hiding. Also tonight, people in Oklahoma City try to put a painful chapter of their lives behind them. More at 10.
Bringing up this baby is a big challenge for the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, but it's a labor of love.
I love this little guy.
Tonight on 9 News, get the only cuddly close-up of baby Jasiri at home, doing what babies do best, raising Jasiri. Tonight on 9 News at 10.
Here they come, Toyota Previa, 4Runner, Land Cruiser, Celica Convertible, the most exciting Toyotas ever. And your Toyota dealer's got super deals on super models, offering Previa lease. Only $299 a month puts power and all the options you need in your hands. How about the limited edition 4Runner with up to $1,000 savings on valuable options? Or select the ultimate, the legendary Land Cruiser, now redesigned with dual airbags. It's a Toyota Summer Collection 95 sales event. Don't miss it.
Get ready for a special number that'll save you money on Colorado in-state long-distance rates. Ready? The number is good old number 1, because now US West guarantees that whenever you dial 1 plus your old roommate's number, your mom's number, your best friend's number, you'll never pay more than $15.
Had been charged with sexually abusing 7 children. The parents of those children, Michael and Patricia Ballard, have pleaded guilty as part of plea bargains and received their sentences. Danann's wife, Marcia, also pleaded guilty to lesser charges, and she has been released. Jury selection in her husband's trial is expected to continue tomorrow in this case, which authorities say is one of the worst incidents of child abuse in Boulder County history.
A teenager Denver police say is at the center of their investigation into the disturbance following the MLK rally yesterday. Remains in custody tonight on $250,000 bond.
As Channel 2's Ernest Goodalay reports tonight, police are still working out details of the investigation, an investigation that may bring in the FBI.
Workers chip out what remains of windows at this East Colfax liquor store. They were smashed by a marauding youth following yesterday's MLK parade. It's the second time this store's been targeted. The same thing happened following the Rodney King verdict last spring. But by monitoring newscasts, police say they have ideas about who's responsible for this and other violence yesterday. This young man seen jumping on this woman as she lay unconscious on the ground is under arrest tonight. But because he's a minor, police can't divulge his name, but they say they already know a lot about him. Police say the young man at the center of this investigation came here last summer from Kansas City carrying with him a violent criminal past. They describe him as a self-emancipated teenager out of total control of his parents, a young man who may also be facing federal prosecution once this case is disposed of. He's charged with criminal intent to commit first-degree murder and first-degree assault.
It appears that the back of her head was stomped on with both feet from full body weight from one individual. Had she not been unconscious, there's a good possibility we would have serious neck and head injuries.
The young woman's okay tonight. 15 people are also charged with various crimes from yesterday's chaos, 8 adults, 7 juveniles. DA Norm Early says some of the youths may be tried as adults if it's believed juvenile court won't benefit them. Meanwhile, police say they think they did a generally good job yesterday, but don't look forward to dealing with a KKK threat to carry out regularly scheduled demonstrations.
That wasn't a cheap operation for the city and county of Denver yesterday as far as the police department. The fact is for all city services, for state services, that wasn't done without a great deal of expense yesterday.
Police say one person who was watching TV reports recognized one suspect and turned him in. They're hoping that others will be similarly moved to step forward and help them wrap this investigation up. Ernest Goodalay, Channel 2 News.
It's the battle of the permits tonight for control of the state capitol.